Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So we are halfway through the week, and this episode is going to be really great. So if you can think of anybody that maybe has some triggers that are stopping their success, maybe they have shared some personal information with you, this broadcast is for them. So go ahead and on your lower left-hand corner, go ahead and invite them to this broadcast because you don't want them to miss it. So if we're meeting for the first time, my name is Brianna Anninger, and I just want to let you know that I am passionate about just empowering you and inspiring you to truly wake up and live, okay? So today we are going to talk about our triggers and what is stopping us. Part of our upper limit problems that we've been discussing, and this is episode 3. So I'm super excited to share that with you. This broadcast honestly could go for an hour, but I'm not going to do that to you guys, don't worry. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this chapter in 2 to 3 episodes. I haven't decided yet. Today we're only going to discuss the 3 triggers, and tomorrow we'll kind of add on, so you have to join us tomorrow to still learn, okay? Good morning, George. Thank you so much for joining live. And Debbie, good to see you. Good to see you, Amanda, too. So I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Go ahead and comment below how you're feeling right now. Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for joining. So if you're live, go ahead and comment 1. And if you are going to be watching that replay, go ahead and comment 2. I just want to say I thank you so much for being consistent with me and joining me and helping you grow and step into your genius zone. Okay, so let's get into this episode. So what could our triggers be, right? So first of all, we kind of have to recap a little bit about yesterday's episode. And yesterday's episode was our 4 hidden barriers. And if you didn't join our episode, our 4 hidden barriers are: 1 is that feeling fundamentally flawed, right? Our number 2 is that feeling of disloyalty. Are we going to disloyal our family or the family name? Number 3 is more success brings more burdens. And number 4 is that fear of outshining somebody, okay? So those are our 4 hidden barriers. Now that we are going to talk about our daily life limit, how we limit ourselves daily, okay? So it kind of does go in with those hidden barriers. That's why I wanted to discuss that a little bit. And then we have our 5 limiting our 5 limits of our daily life that the author talks about, okay? So the first one is that we worry, okay? So if you can relate to this, go ahead and comment 3. If you feel like you worry a lot, do you worry about your bills? Do you worry about maybe health issues? Do you worry about gossip? Do you worry about, what else? Worry about your kids, the safety of your kids, of them going on that school bus. So there's so many things in our life that we can worry about. And so what he talks about in the book is that we have practical worry and we have impractical worry. So practical worry is that we can do something about it. Impractical worry is we can't do something about it, okay? So an example that he talks about is that when that practical worry is when, let's say that you leave your house and you had maybe your cup of coffee in the morning, and that you thought that you left that coffee pot on, right? Or for us girls, right, that we do our hair, maybe we left our flat iron on or our curling iron. So we leave the house and we're driving, and instantly we have that feeling: did I turn off the coffee pot? Did I turn off the curling iron? Did I turn off that flat iron? And so we have 2 options. Either we can continue to worry and have that thought, right, go into like our house is going to burn down, and we're going to come home and it's everything is going to be like our life's going to be in pieces. Or we can take that time to turn around and go home and fix it, right? And make sure that we did turn it off. And 9 times out of 10, we did turn it off. So here's the thing is like, why did we start to worry in that moment, right? So think about that for a second. The reason why we worry is, and this kind of goes into number 2 too, but that something positive that we're thinking about, we're deflecting subconsciously. I was like, wow, that is really powerful. That we start to worry when something positive is going to happen, or if it already is happening. And it kind of goes back to those hidden barriers. Am I good enough to feel this good? Am I good enough for success? Right? That's that fundamentally barrier. Okay. So then we have our impractical worry. There's nothing that we can do about it. Okay. So we have to figure out, like, when something happens that really it's out of our control. We can't do anything about it. So we need to change that thought process and start to think something positive and turn around maybe what we can do, okay? So I'm kind of reminded about impractical worry is about other people, right? We are only responsible and we can only control ourselves and our behavior. So if there's a time that that someone maybe, that you get into an argument or you feel a certain way, and it kind of, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but the thing is that, like, we can't control that other person and how they're thinking and what they're going to say, right? So the only thing is that we can only control ourselves. We can only control our behavior. And I always think about this is that there's a dominoes effect. That, you know, if we do something, then the other person might reflect to do another thing, right? So I'm a firm believer that if there's a, you know, bad relationship happening, whether it be a spouse, whether it be a brother, sister, a mother, father, an aunt, an uncle, a friend, you know, all relationships, right? That if there is something that is going on, that it's how we respond to the situation. If we don't feed them that fire, then the situation can be very diffused, right? So, okay, so now number 2 we're on is criticism and blame. Criticism and blame probably can be this whole episode that we can talk about, right? I'm sure everybody is familiar with criticism and blame and how it makes us feel, right? It defeats us. It makes us feel that negative feeling, and we don't want that, right? We want to live our life to our fullest. We want to step into our genius zone, right? We want to get out of our comfort zone. We want to stay out of our competence zone, you know, that we want to live our life to the fullest. So criticism and blame is that, you know, there's different types of criticism and blame. A lot of it happens in relationships, that we have somebody, again, that, how did he give us the example? That it was really funny how he talked about it, that usually someone will say, like, you know, well, it is your fault, you know, and I'm the victim, and, you know, and it's just your fault. And then he says that, like, people will come into his office, and instead of someone was saying, this was really funny, I was laughing so hard, and someone was saying, if someone would say, oh, you're right, yeah, you know, you are the victim, and it is my fault, and, you know, your life is doomed because you're with me, you know, and he says instead, that people don't say that. Instead, what do? We fight, right? We fight for our feelings, and we don't want to be the one that is responsible for, you know, hurting people. And so what happens, we get our guard up. And so if someone says, you know, it's your fault, you know, I'm the victim, and, you know, so then they say, no, it's your fault. I'm the victim, right? And then what happens? We have this huge blow up. We have, you know, people separating. We have families that don't talk to each other. The list goes on, right? So with the criticism and blame, he talked about, again, that there's practical and impractical. So the example that he gave is practical about that. Let's say that you're in the elevator and someone comes over and they step on your foot. and it hurts really bad, right? And you're just like, ow, this hurts. And so you can say, excuse me, you're stepping on my foot, right? And then what happens? They can take their foot off and your pain is gone, right? And that was a practical time that, you didn't criticize a person. It was more constructive, just saying like, hey, did you notice that you're stepping on my foot? It really hurts, right? So, and then we have our impractical where, again, we can't do anything about it. So I kind of thought about this, and I just kind of thought about this when I'm talking to you guys. It's kind of the same thing in a relationship, right? That, if someone think about it, that someone's hurting us and they're stepping on our foot, instead of saying like, you're on my foot, get off my foot, right? Then then you can say, you know what, that really hurt me when you said X, Y, and Z. Can you please get off my foot, right? Look at the difference. Think of all that, the outcome that would be different, okay? So then our third one is deflection, okay? So this was a huge one, and he used golfers as an example, and I thought this was funny. He is a really great author. I really enjoyed this book, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys too. So deflection. And I believe that I have grown a lot from this. I used to do this, but I feel like I have gotten a lot better at it. And I believe just, reading self-help books and just self-reflecting has really helped. And so I really hope that this helps you too, okay? So let's think about a time when someone might have given us a compliment. And so he used golfers as an example. So we'll use golfers. So we have golfers on the grass, right? And they're golfing and they swing. And he says that, he told them, he goes, hey, Bob, that was a really good swing. Like, you made the hole. And the golfer's like, well, how does he go? He goes, well, it's about time I hit that shot, right? And so instead of saying like, thank you so much, I tried really hard to hit that shot. It wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, but I'm glad that it made it, right? So that is that deflection. And so, so it was really interesting because I feel like we do that a lot, that we don't take compliments from people. And I'm not sure why we do this. This is part of one of those triggers. And it might stem back to our self-worth. And it goes back to, I believe that fundamentally flawed, that we believe that we're fundamentally flawed. And you're not. You are destined for a purpose, and you are here in this world for a reason. You're watching this broadcast for a reason, because you want to feed your mind, and you want to be that difference in the world. So I want you to think about a time, that maybe someone gave you that compliment, and what was your reaction to it, and why did you react a certain way, okay? So that is our broadcast today. It's helped me a lot. I think this chapter will be a chapter I'll probably read over and over again, because it was just so much knowledge in it. And like I said, we would take an hour for this broadcast to kind of go over everything. So I encourage you that if you don't have the book already, it's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendrick. And I would love for you guys to follow along. And then also, I want to encourage you to please talk about what you feel and what you learned in this broadcast in the comments. I'm reminded of that I'm in this coaching program with Sonia Stringer, that I love her, right? And we have this group that it's called like our Inner Circle Mastermind Mastery. And there's times where we go live, Facebook Live, and we talk about our wins, we talk about what we're struggling, and we learn from each other. And so I kind of thought for a second that I would love for these Facebook Lives that I do with you guys to kind of be like that. That, whatever you feel that maybe hit home to you, and maybe why it hit home to you. And I really would encourage you to comment below and share your heart. Amanda is so talented. She is such a great writer. When she writes me her heart, sometimes she'll self-reflect after these Facebook Lives, and she'll tell me like why it has helped her. And I'll be like, wow, that's so great. I didn't even see it in that perspective. And then I kind of thought about this morning, that maybe there's somebody that needs to hear it from her perspective, right? Because some things that maybe I hear, that I take it a certain way. But we are all different, and we can all learn from each other. So that is what my goal is, that I want you guys to be able to feel safe in this. And if there is any comments that I feel that is not safe, I will delete them right away, because I feel that we are stronger together, and that, you know, I feel like my mission is evolving, and that that I just want to help you guys. You know, I love to just empower people and to truly help them step into their genius zone. And I think one of the ways, well, okay, I'm going to take that back. Now think, I know, right? I know that this is one way that this can help you step in your genius zone, with all of us sharing, you know, what touched us and why it touched us, and have different opinions and views, okay? So I hope you guys have a great day. And tomorrow we're going to continue to talk about these daily triggers, and, you know, how to help them, and how to get us into that genius zone, get us out of that comfort zone, get us out of that competence zone, get us out of that excellent zone, and get us into that genius zone and truly live our life by our design. Okay, so I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you have a blessed day, and just throughout the day, think about these things, and think about, you know, why you worry and how to stop that worry, because you're stopping that blessing from you getting that blessing. Okay, so I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.